I got a bachelor's degree in wildlife resources from Utah State, worked for Utah Game and Fish Department, went in the Navy for 4 years, was overseas for a couple of years on a ship, was up in the Aleutians for a year and a half, went to work for the feds in 1967 in Devils Lake, North Dakota, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, as a wetlands biologist. Happens to be when they were just passing the first Endangered Species Act. My career of 32 years is just parallel that. I worked as a law enforcement officer, special agent in Minneapolis, and worked all over the upper Midwest when I was stationed in Minneapolis. Went down to Grand Island, Nebraska as a special agent, worked on waterfowl down there for a couple of years. Went to New York City. I was the first law enforcement officer of the Fish and Wildlife Service, had the port of entry just as they passed the real Endangered Species Act, I'll mention in a minute, and made a couple of big cases. Went into Washington, D.C., spent 25 years in the Fish and Wildlife Service here, was congressional fellow, law enforcement officer, program analyst, administrative officer over the Endangered Species Program. In my last 6 years, worked for the Federal Aid Program, overseeing the money that they collect on arms and ammunition and give the state fish and wildlife agencies for your hunting and fishing programs. It's a program that goes anywhere from 300 to 400 million a year. It's a major source of income for state fish and wildlife agencies. Explain it. In the course of that, I told him that in working with those excise taxes, I didn't see a big increase in the taxes in the early to mid-90s when President Clinton got elected, just like when President Obama got elected. There was a big surge and run on the gun stores and on ammunition. The excise taxes should have gone way up. They didn't. Congress was very interested in that. The staff people were. And they said, thank you very much for explaining what's going on. I went home, was still waiting to hear from the Fish and Wildlife Service when Congress called me back up. And they said, they showed me 19 big boxes, 2 feet high, full of computer printouts. They said that they had asked the Fish and Wildlife Service to give them all of the money in the most recent year they had full records for, the excise taxes, and where they went. All of that money, except for a small amount, about 5%, should have gone just straight to State Fish and Wildlife Agency. Nowhere else. Couldn't use it anywhere in the Fish and Wildlife Service. By law. Never could. Came back and reported that they had stolen at least $45 to $60 million 2 years. They had used the money to open the office in California. They had used the money to introduce wolves in Yellowstone. And they had given bonuses to most of their top people. There was 2 big hearings and all of this, and after that was all the dust settled on that. The director made the statement, and when they finally got her to come in, she wouldn't come for 2 hearings. They threatened me to hold her in contempt. She said she was told she could use the money any way she wanted. Okay, so that wasn't, I mean, no lawyer could say that based on the wording of the law, but anyway. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, and from there, I suppose they would have the lead as far as which other agencies or what other federal police forces would be involved in the investigation.